Hello there, YouTube. Devin here again, and today I have a requested video to compare an American ECH to a British Mark 7. The Mark 7 and the ECH serve side by side. The Mark 7 is being replaced in frontline combat with the Virtus helmet system, which is pretty much an ECH. They're pretty much the same exact helmet. The Virtus helmet isn't quite as bulbous as the ECH. It's a little bit more rounded, like the Mark 7 is. And it has a suspension type system in it rather than a pad system. But other than that, the helmet shell is pretty much the same composition. And I'm looking to get my hands on one of those here, but they're kind of hard to find on the market here. So, but if I ever get the chance to buy one, I'll jump on it. But today, we're going to compare one of my favorite helmets. I actually really like British helmets because they are super comfortable. I've always really liked British helmets because they remind me of a lot of military equipment in general over the years, where it's something, they're hideous. British helmets have always been hideous. Ever since they really got away from the Mark 1s and 2s. British helmets have always looked kind of strange. They've always been pretty ugly helmets, but they're comfortable. They work very well for their jobs, and they seem to be quite happy with them. I mean, there's always better options out there. That's for everybody, though. I mean, so there is better options out there than most of the British helmet designs. But I really like the British helmet designs, and I have a Mark 6, I have a Mark 6 Para, I have a Mark 6A. I've got couple different Mark 7s, as you'll see here in the video, and they're just great. I love British helmets in general, and I really love, the thing I like about them is their suspension system. I really love suspension over pad systems, if you watch my channel for any length of time. But we'll get into it here. Now, I'm not going to go into like a whole bunch of the technical specs and everything like that, because both of these helmets actually have their own videos if you want to learn the history and stuff like that between both of these. But we'll give the rundown as far as protection goes. This is at least 3A protection. This is at least 3A protection too. Both of them are considered to be better than 3A brand new. This is made out of an aramid fiber, which means it will break down over time, because aramid and Kevlar break down over time on a atomic level, and they become less and less effective. Kevlar helmet's lifespan should only be about 10 years maximum, whereas the ECH shelf life is a lot longer. I don't know what the exact shelf life on it is, but it's supposed to be at least double as long as a standard ACH. So that's one factor you have to go in looking into them. Now you know. We'll compare them here to the side now. Don't mind this. This is just a Streamlight mount, but I didn't want to try to find my screwdriver to get it out. But now you can see where the Mark 7 was actually a pretty short-lived helmet. They're not going to be replaced in service by the Virtus helmet. They're kind of going to get shuffled down the line, much like the Mark 6 and the Mark 6A did, as better stuff becomes available. So, but I very much like the shape. I do see where with the British style of body armor, which has a collar on it, where this helmet would interfere with the body armor, which was one of the big problems with this helmet, because it has a very tall, straight-walled nape, as you can see, and there's no like relief cut. It's flat, which is where like the ACH and the ECH, see how they have this kind of taper here that helps it to not interfere with your body armor and stuff like that, whereas this just tends to be flat. These helmets are about the same width. The Mark 7 is a little bit taller than the ECH. Has the same kind of liner as you would find on a Mark 6A. It's pretty much interchangeable. The ECH can take any ACH chin straps, pads, anything like that. The screws need to be a little bit longer. The only things that do need to be changed different, other than the screws, are cover. If you have an ECH, unless you have, they are the same sizing as an ACH. So if you wear a size large ACH, you'll wear a size large ECH. But if the cover isn't specifically marked ECH, you need to go a size up. So like if you're trying to put an ACH cover on an ECH, like this is size large, I can fit a size large ACH cover will not fit on a size large ECH. I had to order an extra large ACH cover to fit over my ECH. And the night vision mounting bracket. So it needs to be a little bit longer screw, and it can't be an ACH one because the prongs on the back are too narrow. They need to be wider because the ECH is thicker. The only difference between the Mark 7 and the Mark 6A that it replaced, really other than the shape and everything, is there's a big upgrade. It's much thinner than the Mark 6A. It's about half as thick as the Mark 6A. Now the chin strap is now a 5-point chin strap instead of a 3-point chin strap, which I really like. It seems a little bit complicated. This is not the standard chin strap on it, by the way. This is the quick release. The standard one, which I have right here, would look a lot like this. It'd be the double snaps, kind of the brighter green cotton. This one also, I have it up here, has the Super Comfort pads on it, which are these pads that run underneath here, right along here, underneath the net, and then these ear cups, as well as having some pads on the straps to prevent it from cutting in. I really like this upgrade on the British helmets, and you can put this in a Mark 6, you can put it in a Mark 6A, and you can put them in the Mark 7. It gives these, the British helmets have always had very awkward lateral stability, which means they don't really rock forward, but they tend to rock from side to side on your head. And these really help prevent that, but they are going to inhibit your ability to use communications. So as you can see here, this one does not have the upgrades in it, but it does have an upgrade I recommend you get as well, which is the quick release chin strap, because you could wear out the snaps pretty quick otherwise. And the Mark, and it's just a lot faster to take on and off. It's a lot easier to fit really quickly if you just have the quick release chin strap on it. And I really like it. It seems to be a little bit coarser cotton material. The leather does not seem to be as nice though, so it's a trade-off. I recently picked up this one because my other Mark 6 there is brand new and I didn't want to beat it up, but I wanted one I could beat up on and shoot and stuff if I really wanted to. And this one, I ordered it and it was supposedly size medium, but it's not. It's a size large, so I have to have it really far adjusted. So it didn't have a tag in it, so I could see where they got it wrong. I didn't really cause too much problems around, but I did let them know it was a size large after I received it. But I'll still find a use for it. So I'm still looking for another size medium one though. But we'll compare the two here now. As you can see, the thickness comparison between the ECH and the ACH is the ECH and the Mark 7 is a world of difference. The Mark 7 is probably a third as thick as the ECH. It's a little bit thinner than the Mark 7's a little bit thinner even than the lightweight helmet, so the Marine Corps lightweight helmet. So just to give you some reference there as far as thickness goes. But I really like the liners here. You can see the differences. The Mark, these are both size large, by the way. The Mark 7 is a much larger helmet. There's a lot more adjustability in the Mark 7 though, which I think makes it, for me, a better helmet than the ECH. I really don't like the pad system. I really like the British suspension system. I wish I could get suspension systems like this and put them in every helmet I own, every Kevlar helmet I own, because they're so nice. I like them that much. Now, a lot of people really have some issues with them, but they have everything I like. They're nice and comfortable. They breathe really well. They're relatively stable, like I said, and they don't really interfere with your comms and stuff, whereas you have to buy special sets of ACH pads to use with communications to route your headband, whereas you can just route your comms right over this pad, even, or even underneath this styrofoam back here if you really wanted, if it was thin enough. You could do that, and you could just take your comms off with your helmet every time. Whereas you see a lot of people with the ACH and stuff, you have to clip them to rails and stuff on the outside of the helmet, and that's just annoying. So, especially if then you didn't want to use the communications, you'd have to completely take them off and stuff. It's a nightmare. So I really like the Mark 7, actually. I'm quite impressed with it. It's also very weird in the fact that it's tan. These came in tan, even though when these were adopted, the British were still using kind of more darker colors. Even now, they're still using more greens. I'm surprised they didn't paint it green, kind of like they did the Mark 6. So that's kind of odd. These helmets are very, very hard to find on the market, especially outside the United Kingdoms or Ukraine. The largest batch of these outside of the UK is in Ukraine, because they're sending out, Ukraine's buying a lot of them for the Civil War over there. They have a lot of, they really, really like the Mark 7. So, so hopefully you guys could draw some comparisons between these two, and you really, really like these videos. If you have any suggestions for other comparisons you want to do, I'd very much like to do those for you so you could see the difference between them both here. So hopefully this fulfilled what you were looking for, you guys, and see a comparison between two really, really good helmets, actually, I think. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave that in the comment. If you have any suggestions for future videos, leave that in the comments as well. I'm so sorry I haven't put a video up in a long time. I've been hanging out with my girlfriend a lot and still trying to look for houses and stuff like that so I could buy a new house. And work in general has been a nightmare. With Memorial Day coming up, I work in sales. So, yeah, Memorial Day just kind of, every holiday, the week up to every holiday just sucks if you work in sales. So thank you for bearing with me on that, you guys. And thank you so much for watching. And hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.